Today on Tips from the Top Floor, we'll look at getting your digital files onto an analog photo, and we're doing the search for the rainbow's missing color. Masterclass offers exclusive access to online classes taught by masters of their craft. Learn everything from game design to photography to French pastry fundamentals. Get unlimited access to every masterclass with $30 off at masterclass.com/topfloor. That's masterclass.com/topfloor for $30 off your first year of the all access pass. Masterclass.com/topfloor. This is Tips from the Top Floor 874 for August the 8th, 2019.
Tips from the top floor, tips from the top, alright, from the top floor.
Hey, hello and welcome. It's Chris Marquardt. You're listening to Tips from the Top Floor, episode 874 for August 2019. The year is, filling up again. There's this Twitter account that posts every day posts a progress bar of how much progress the year is already from 0 to 100%. We crossed the 50 a while ago. Kind of depressing to watch. Anyway, it's beautiful today. It's a wonderful day. It is August. It is sunny summer. I like that. Tomatoes are growing in the garden. Zucchini, cucumbers. Everything's coming along nicely. So what do we have on today's show? The July Slack challenge is over. Yeah, I know it's already August, but it just took a bit longer. We do this challenge every 2 months. Matt gives us a new challenge, and then at the end of those 2 months, I will look at the photos and I will choose about 3 of them to talk about. So here we go. The topic was sky, and 21 of you participated. Thanks for that. Awesome. And I will talk about the photos. I'll put the links to the photos in the show notes so you can watch along. And as usual, a bunch of those are on the TFTTF Slack, and some are on other sites. So you might have to have a Slack login to see them. But I'm trying to make them as public as I can. So let's start. The first one I chose was by Robert Oldenburg, Spotted Cow. And he writes, as a description, he writes, a cow statue in southeastern Wisconsin down the highway from New Glarus, Wisconsin. Also the name of a company that brews numerous beers, among them Spotted Cow. So what do we see? We see a cow statue on a little, what is it, a pedestal? It's more than a pedestal. It's a little mount, a little hill made from rocks. And the picture has several things that made me look. And when I look through the pictures, I usually see them, when they're on the page, they're almost like thumbnail size. So photos that catch my eye as a thumbnail have a good chance for me to be looked at earlier than others. I look at every single one, promise. But that one caught my eye because of a few things. First of all, the sky is quite prominent in the picture. It's a prominent feature, which helps because the assignment was about sky. It has very nice clouds with the blue sky. Great contrast there between the bright of the cloud and the blue of the sky, while nothing being overexposed. That's what I love in cloud photos, when the clouds are intact, right? It's easy for clouds, at least the edges of the clouds that are white and maybe directly lit by the sun, for those to burn out. That's easy, but it doesn't help with them looking nice. I really like when there's some completeness in a sky. So that's what I will typically expose for if I can. And if the brightness in the sky is too high and the foreground is too dark, then I'll use an ND grad filter to at least partially bring down the sky in exposure and make it more similar to the foreground. And then, that's how I do it. Then the cow in this photo is on it's a mound, little thing made of rocks, and the rocks are yellow. And that's a wonderful complementary color contrast to the blue sky. So maybe that was the thing that drew me in, the beautiful clouds and the yellow-blue contrast. And then also the sides of that little hill make lines that point to the cow. So the cow is very central, very, very centric composition, which does totally work in this context. And yeah, works as a thumbnail and in a bigger photo. So Robert, thank you for that. Next one by Joe Russo, Golden Sunrise. And he writes, I got up for sunrise after seeing how the lake near my house looked when I dropped my son off at his camp. Not disappointed by what I saw there. So yeah, okay, what do we see? Let me explain if you're not looking. Early morning, right? It's a warm early morning light, so the sun has just come up. It's almost monochrome. It's very warm. The entire photo is warm, so that really tosses the entire thing into a very warm, almost monochrome light. It's a lake. The water is pretty quiet, not much wind. That's very typical for early mornings. So if you want nice motionless reflections, you will get those early morning, not in the evening, or at least depending on where you are. I've seen some of the quietest, most beautiful water for reflections I've seen in Norway a few years ago when we were there during the midnight sun. So we were out taking sunrise photos at 1 a.m. and the sun was over the water. It was just like a mirror. Really nice. So then in the photo, there's a bit of mist over the water and in the trees in the back, which gives it like a very nice mood. Again, something that you won't get in the evening. Typically, that's a morning thing. And then the sun is coming up behind the clouds and it's reflecting in the lake. And I really like the symmetry in that. The reflection makes a nice symmetry. And while the sky doesn't take up like a whole lot of the photo, it's important because it's bright and warm in color and it reflects and it draws your attention. So this photo wouldn't be as interesting without the sky. Now, the one thing, the little nitpicky thing here is that the edges of the clouds in the top are like burnt out. But yeah, okay. So maybe next time try HDR here and just bring down the clouds and the edges of the clouds a bit without making it look too fake. That would be my only recommendation. But hey, it drew me in, so it worked. And last but not least, the third picture is by Sean Grimes. Title is Dream. And he writes, I saw a ton of light hitting this building in my neighborhood and then the dream sign in the window. Kind of obvious, but thought the elements of Dream, the sky and the wide angle complemented each other. So this was one that wasn't as obvious. I mean, the thumbnail didn't really pull me in, which again, doesn't have to, but it might be a bonus sometimes. No, this is a black and white photo. It's not even super high contrast. Even though the subject in there, I mean, the house with the sun shining straight at it is kind of high contrast, but technically the camera did a very good job. It's an unusual perspective. I usually like straight lines, but this is like pointing upwards along the building into the sky. And then in one window, there's this dream, the sign that says Dream. And of course, what makes the photo and what complements is the wispy clouds that you have on the right-hand side of the photo. That works really well together. And the angle of the photo and the fact that you don't even see the ground, that's kind of a bit destabilizing. But that's also what puts some tension in the photo for me. So it's kind of a counterbalance to the dream theme here. And I like the contrast of these wispy clouds against the sky. I assume you shot this digital and then probably lowered the blue channel or used some filter. In film times, you'd have used an orange or like a red filter in front of the lens to achieve that same effect of a darker sky against the brighter clouds. You can see that in a lot of Ansel Adams photos. So yeah, works for me. And that's it. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Sean. for participating. And everyone, thanks for your photos. Even if I didn't talk about yours specifically, I looked at all of them and lots of great stuff in there. So it was a tough choice. And now we're on to the next challenge. Release Pixie. Matt, take it away.
Hello everyone, Ravzatar the Release Pixie here, and it's time for another Slack challenge. The July 2019 challenge is wrapping up, and it's time to roll right into the September 2019 challenge. So the topic for this month is a bit more open to interpretation. The topic this month is soft. So go out, take a brand new photo that you think represents the topic of soft, whether that's your focus or the subject. Give the photo a name, post it up on your favorite hosting website, post a link to the Slack challenge channel on the Tips from the Top 4 Slack, and get that done before September 30th, 2019. And Chris will pick a few after that deadline, and he'll talk about them on the show. And good luck to everyone. Happy shooting.
Happy shooting. So there we go. Soft. That's the next challenge. Soft. And you'll have until the end of September to participate, to bring your photo and post it on the TFTTF Slack in the right channel. Now, here's how you can participate. If you're already on the TFTTF Slack, then go to the new challenge channel. It's named Challenge Sept, Challenge-SEPT 2019. You'll find it. Just go to the channel list, search for challenge. To the channel list, search for challenge. So if you are already a Slack member, I can put the link to the new channel in the show notes. You can just click on that. If you're not a member of the TFTTF Slack just yet, you're missing out. You really are missing out. And it's really easy to get on there. It's free. It's a wonderful community of listeners, other people like you who listen to this episode. There's no reason to not get in contact. You just go to tfttf.com/yslack, tfttf.com/WHYSLACK to get access, and our CIO Rusty Russ will be more than happy to let you. And I think he's on vacation for a while, so I might do that myself. So yeah, tfttf.com/yslack. And again, as usual, there's no prizes to win. The reason for you to participate is motivation, right? It's about going out, getting back into photography, get off your butt and do some photography. And of course, get a chance to have your photo reviewed here on Tips from the Top Floor. But yeah, that's what this is all about. And again, don't just pull out an old photo from your catalog. Take a new one. That's the entire point of this exercise. So yeah, you have until the end of September. Really looking forward. 21 last time. We can do better. Come on. Go out, take a photo, soft. And I'm looking forward to what you're gonna bring to the table. Let's give a warm welcome to a new sponsor on this show. We're talking about Masterclass. Whatever you're passionately curious about, you can keep digging in and learning more with a master of the field when you sign up for Masterclass. Of course, I went straight to the photography classes. There's one by Annie Leibovitz, and not only is everything on the site so well produced and it's such a nice intimate setting, it's like you're sitting in your living room with Annie. The content is great. It's right up my alley. Annie's stories, they are just great, and there's so many things in there that resonate with me 100% about reducing the kit, about how she deals with lighting. There's even assignments in there. I really, really enjoyed that. And of course, the photography is one aspect of Masterclass, but browsing the site, I quickly ended up putting 4 or 5 other classes right on my list that have nothing to do with photography, really, but that I still can't wait watching. There's one with Deadmau5 about electronic music production. I'm a musician, so this is, again, right up my alley. There's one with Malcolm Gladwell about writing. Yep, we all write this or that, and there's a lot to learn there. And I'm a nerd at heart, so the one that I'm actually looking at right now is Penn and Teller teaching about magic. This is great. Anyway, Masterclass offers exclusive access to online classes taught by masters of their craft. Learn the art of photography from Annie Leibovitz and adventure photography from Jimmy Chin and tons more. Masterclass offers classes on everything from game design to basketball to French pastry fundamentals. There are over 60 classes and new ones are added all the time. Lessons are about 10 to 15 minutes long and you can explore them in whatever order you'd like on your phone, tablet, Apple TV, and computer. Plus, Masterclass offers a 30-day money-back guarantee when you sign up for annual membership, so you've got nothing to lose. Now you can have unlimited access to every masterclass, and as a TFTTF listener, you'll get $30 off. Just go to masterclass.com/topfloor for 30% off your first year of the All Access Pass. That's masterclass.com/topfloor for unlimited access to Masterclass at $30 off. masterclass.com/topfloor.
Hello, Chris. My name is Joshua Peterson. I'm calling from northeastern Washington. My question is this. Is there any type of digital to film transfer? What I mean is there any services that will allow a digital photographer to transfer their digital files to 35 millimeter film? Thank you. Love the show. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Joshua. Digital to film transfer. Those services used to exist for like quite some time, but they're getting kind of rare these days. They used to transfer digital files to slide film, either for like archival purposes, but also in a business context. So you could project them with a slide projector. That was, I mean, initially when there were computers, there was like stuff like PowerPoint but the projection systems just weren't good enough. So that was before digital projectors were affordable and of good enough quality. And up to then, the good old analog slide projector was the highest quality option that there was for projection. And I remember back in the 90s, in a business setting, having a PowerPoint slideshow transferred to 35 millimeter slides to project in a meeting in good quality. That was not unusual. So, yeah, it's hard to imagine these days. So I've done some Googling in the hope that I would find a solution for you, and I did find stuff. I found a service. First of all, I found one that was apparently out of business, and what makes this hard to find is that when you search for, if you just put in the search box digital to film transfer, Google will find a lot of digital film scanning services that transfer film to digital, which is the wrong way around for what you're looking for. But I don't easily give up. I have a lot of pride in my Google foo, and I found, for example, I found xslides.com, exslides.com. They're in Ohio, and their website says Express Slides has been helping artists, movie theaters, students, graphic designers, and photographers with award-winning 35mm slides made from digital files for over 20 years. And when they wrote that sentence, that was probably 10 years ago. And the whole thing is not cheap, but give them a call. See if they're still in business and if they're still doing this. Now, the reason so many of these businesses aren't around anymore is, of course, on the one hand, that not many people need their services anymore. But then there's also the fact that there isn't that much slide film around anymore, or rather, none really, in the 35mm format. I mean, yeah, Kodak's Ektachrome is now coming back. They're reviving that. I don't think it's in the stores just yet. At least I haven't seen it. So that's a good sign. But until now, if you were running a digital to slide transfer business, you better have a few extra freezers in the basement to stockpile enough material. And I guess those who are still in business, that's exactly what they've done. So did I mention I'm proud of my Google abilities? Because it took me a bit to get the search terms right, but then I did, and I found even more services that still offer what you're looking for. There's one called colorslide.com. There's one at slidesfromdigital.com. There's someone bermangraphics.com. There's a gammatech.com. So that's not as many as there used to be 20 years ago, but there still are a few. So Joshua, thanks for the question. I'll put those links in the show notes for you. So now it's on you to do your research and see if they're still around. Before we get to the next question, just a reminder to everyone, you can get your question answered here on the show. Just record something on your smartphone, send it to voice@tfttf.com, and I'll be happy to answer it here on Tips from the Top Floor. Robert, you're next.
Hi, Chris. Love your show. I really enjoy listening to it. I have a really geeky question to ask that you might shed some light on. There are two basic descriptions of color, a circular and a linear. What I mean is an RGB reference of color is circular, and how does that mesh with the linear graph of color that is wavelength? I don't see how this is going to affect what I do or how it all fits together, but it's something that I haven't worked out exactly how it works. Thank you very much. Really enjoy your show. Bye.
Thanks, Robert. Color is, this is an interesting topic because it made me look a few things up that I kind of knew, but I didn't know I could go into a lot of depth, but let me try. Okay, so there are several ways to show color in a graph. Well, the simplest one is purely by wavelength. So that is linear. That's the visible light, and we know the visible light, right? You have seen a rainbow. So that's pretty much what it is. Begins right outside the red spectrum in infrared, but we can't see that. So normally that's shown as black. And then it goes towards the shorter wavelengths with rising energy from red to orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, the rainbow, right? And into black again, which we can't see because outside the visible spectrum, that's UV, next to violet. And that's, again, displayed as black usually. So it's basically a rainbow with black on both sides. That's kind of the linear model. And then there's the circular model, which we also call the color wheel. And that's a bit different, even though it's very similar. But this is more about organizing colors and how they blend. So the color wheel, just a little bit of history, goes back to Isaac Newton. He's credited with inventing the first color circle. And I'll link to an article where I got this from. Let me read to you. Newton placed a prism in front of a thin beam of light and created a rainbow of colors, demonstrating that white light is composed of many colors. To illustrate this, he created a color wheel. Newton's wheel contained the 7 colors in the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. When the colors merge together, they appear white. And that was in 1666. And then over 100 years later, the German writer Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, who was also very interested in kind of the natural world, he picked up Newton's color theory and began to work on the color wheel. And then in 1855, the physicist Maxwell, he's the one who defined red, green, and blue as the primary colors from which all other colors can be created. And there's just one color in the color wheel that is a bit different than the others, and that's magenta or purple. Because if you compare the rainbow with the color wheel has the colors of the rainbow in it, in the order of the rainbow. So that is very similar, but the rainbow doesn't have magenta. So the big question here is, where does that come from? How does that work? And well, I told you the color wheel is about mixing color. And there's a great little YouTube video that I'll link in the show notes. And there you can see if you shine a red and a green light on the same spot on a wall, you'll get yellow. But in our eyes, our cones in the eyes cannot see yellow. There's cones for red light, there's cones for green light and for blue light pretty much. So how does yellow happen when you mix them? if you look on the rainbow, on the linear colors, yeah, that's between green and red, right? The yellow is between green and red. So it's it fits that it's in the middle. If you do the same with green and blue, then you get cyan. And again, that is between green and blue on the rainbow or on the color wheel. So far, so good. But now it gets really interesting because if you shine red and blue on the same spot on a wall, now again, what is between red and blue on the rainbow or on the color wheel? Well, they are on opposite end of the spectrum. So in the middle there would be like the rest of the rainbow, including green, yellow, cyan, and so on. But that's not the case. When you shine a blue and a red light on the same spot, then you get magenta. And that is kind of mind-blowing. I think it is, because magenta doesn't really exist. It's in your mind. I find this funny. Now, of course, the other colors also don't exist. So the yellow doesn't really exist because our eyes do not see yellow. They see red and they see green. So it is really interesting that the mix of two different colors makes a third color. And we don't have yellow receptors, we don't have cyan receptors, we don't have magenta receptors in our eyes. Our brain makes up those colors. So, yeah. But again, this is what the color wheel is about. It's about mixing colors. And in physics, we don't have magenta. It does not exist. All right, that was it for today, and thanks to Masterclass for supporting this episode of Tips from the Top Floor, and of course, thanks everyone else for being around. You guys are awesome. And who's also awesome are the patrons who support this show with a constant stream of little donations. Starts at $1, and yeah, it's awesome that you guys are there. So here, without further ado, is the list of the wonderful patrons who actively support the show. Jeremy Kerwin, Jeffrey Blog, Alex Crozo, Bernhard Goldbach, Daniel Hertrich, Ken Davidson, Leslie Ridlin, Marco Binder, Matt Armstead, Peter Morrow, Scott Wurzel, Tom Stewart, Aaron Pinasov, Stu Silverman, Alan Bruce Horn, Andrew B., Anthony Bartik Bosky, Chad Lake Clark, Chandra, Christopher Greenhill, Dave Smith, David Recht, En Kyong, Francesco Scaglioni, Greg Anastasi, Holger Krupp, James Trimble, Jim Colby, John Donahue, Josh Hopko, Just Me AMR, Ken Berrien, Kyle Nishioka, Marvin Aaron, Michael Grunert, Peter M. Spradling, Rob Duba, Robert Goshko, Ryan Gilio, Zina Fahad, Steven Sandler, Thomas Nilsson, Trevor Palmer, and Woody. Thank you all so much. And everyone else, if you want to hear your name on the show, consider joining this wonderful group of awesome people at tfttf.com/Patreon. Thank you. Music for the show by Jeff Smith, sound partner Hans-Peter Gagerud, publishing and Slack challenges by Release Pixie, Matt Rapsitar, Armstead, Slack Invitations by Chief Invitation Officer CIO Rusty Russ, who's on vacation right now, but I'm taking over for the time. The link to get on the Slack is in the show notes, tfttf.com/yslack. My name is Chris Marquardt. You'll find me on social media at Chris MarQuardt. Now go out and take amazing photos, share them with the world, be nice to each other, and happy shooting.